Hey everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of Dan Tony Sports. My name is Dan Snyder. For the moment, I'm joined by Tony Casper. Tony, how you doing tonight?
Doing well.
Oh, that's great to hear. For the moment, we are sans Dans, besides me. Dan Beebe, unfortunately, will not be making it tonight. He's not feeling well, but we hope that he feels better, and he will be chiming in to help us with our picks this week. And we are joined by a special guest tonight. His name is Bruce.
Oh.
That would be Bruce the Spruce, my Christmas tree.
Cute.
He's not much of a talker.
No.
But,
He'll do.
yeah, but, he's a big fan of the Stanford Cardinal.
Oh, I can imagine. That's funny. My tree, too.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they be?
I know, right?
They're kin. All right. We got a lot of fun that we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to talk college football. We're going to talk NFL, a little bit of college basketball, and we're going to talk about what the future holds for a specific NFL quarterback. But first, we are going to start our show like we always do, and that is with our pigskin poetry. This one's titled Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, where has that been? You could have played like that in 2010. If you'd played like this year after year, then you would have had a successful career. But you didn't, and you've become a joke. You're always complaining, and you're always broke. You have the skills to be more than good, but you never developed the way that you should. Your arm is elite, but your mind is not. And now it's too late to show what you've got. Your chance is over. You blew it, man. Now you're 2 years away from just being a fan. Imagine how great Jay Cutler could have been.
I don't know that Jay Cutler could have been great.
Come on, you saw him at Vanderbilt. You saw him the first 2 years at Denver, and he was showing promise at first, but then that promise really started coming to fruition, and he was really good.
Yeah, yes, but I don't know that he could have been great because I don't know if Jay Cutler has it in himself to be consistent. Not to mention, he gets hurt, and he's out for... my pinky hurts, I'm out.
A month.
Yeah, like...
Broken nail.
Sometimes he brings it upon himself, which... other times it's just injuries. Because I've seen Jay Cutler be good. I've also seen Jay Cutler be really bad. So, Jay Cutler is like one of those things that you never really know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
you're either going to get great Jay Cutler, average Jay Cutler, or
Jay Cutler.
Yeah, or bad Jay Cutler.
Which is our normal.
Yeah, so the great is a hard thing for me to sell just because... I don't know if he could be consistent enough to be great. I think we can consider him good, above average, depending on the day.
You're right. What's that, Bruce? Bruce said he's going to go out on a limb, and there's no way Jay Cutler could have been great. That's not very nice, Bruce.
Yeah, well, I kind of share Bruce's opinion.
All right. We got a lot of fun to talk about. Like I said, we've got college football. We've got NFL. We got some college basketball. We've really got a big mix of just about everything you could possibly think of and want to talk about. And we're going to start that off with college football, especially the first game that we'd seen, the only FBS game that we had last week. It was a very good one. Army versus Navy. Very, very good game.
It was certainly an entertaining game. I mean, you can't fault that. I mean, it certainly deserved to be the only game on that weekend. If we were going to get a game, they certainly gave you a good one.
Yeah, they sure did. Up to, I think it was the middle of the third quarter, only 2 passes had been thrown, one by a running back and one by a wide receiver. So,
I mean, are we surprised by this? I mean, these teams aren't exactly known for their passing. I think it also added a nice element that this was one of the years where it was the determiner of the Commander-in-Chief trophy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you normally don't get that with Navy and Army against each other. I mean, typically Air Force is a strong football team.
Yeah, it's because they throw for like 800 yards a game.
Well, that's what happens, yeah. But, I mean, is there any team more... I mean, is there any team that should pass them more than the Air Force? I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're the Air Force.
Yeah, I mean, that's to be expected. I mean, if there was a way that you could run plays on water, I'd expect Navy to do it.
You're right. And he's swimming to the 30, the 40, the 50.
Jumped in the pool.
He dove at the 30, the 20, 10, and making a splash into the end zone. Oh, man. It was a great game.
Was that a snow game as well?
It was snowy.
It was snowy there, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that amazed me, and I was talking to my father about this, was, and he brought it up actually, when you saw them storming the field, does everyone from the U.S. Army Academy have to go to that game? Because it certainly seemed like they were all on the field. Like everybody that's in, like save for like a couple people that have to be there for whatever reason. It feels like the entire student body was there.
Yeah, it did. It looked like...
At the end, it looked like. I mean, they filled the field almost.
Yeah, which I just have one question. I didn't pay too much attention to the broadcast. I was watching football and chatting with our good friend Dan Beebe. Where did President Trump sit?
I did not see. I was working for most of the game. I was able to get home and watch the end of the game and the final. I was actually on the phone with my father talking about that. I do want to say though, I did really like the Navy uniforms.
Oh yeah, the blue was beautiful.
The Blue Angels.
Oh
that
yeah,
was fantastic.
beautiful.
That was a great uniform. I hope they don't just retire that because they were paying tribute to the Blue Angels. I believe they're not going to be any longer, as far as I know.
And the Blue Angels couldn't even fly over the stadium because the weather was too bad.
That's unfortunate because we know they would have. I mean, I was lucky enough to go to an air show and see the Blue Angels live, and now that may not be the case for most people, but if you get the opportunity, look up a video. Some of the things they can do in air and the sequencing is out of this world.
Absolutely. They're a national treasure.
They are, yeah. I was lucky enough to see them at an air show before, and I'm glad that I did.
It's like military magic.
Yeah, well, it is, yeah. I'm sure most of them were trained by, or, encouraged or given some tips by Israeli fighters, but, that's neither here nor there.
I mean, doesn't matter where you learn it. Just
No, that's true. It's just the fact that Israeli pilots can do some things that American pilots are like, yeah, you shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
But then again, they are...
they literally have to be.
Yeah, their entire existence has existed in a war zone. So
That's true.
That certainly ups your game when necessary.
Yeah.
So I get it. But the game itself was good. It was entertaining. It literally came down to the end. I mean, that field goal could have tied it.
Yeah. It was one of the most entertaining games of the season. And I typically don't like low-scoring games. But this one was a different kind of low-scoring. It was like on the edge of your seat for well over half the game.
Yeah, well, what about the play of the Army quarterback on the drive that they scored to go up? I mean, he literally did it. He was like, you know what? I got this. I don't trust any of you.
Yeah, so we'll see, because this is one of the best rivalries in all of college football. Hopefully
it is a good one, and it deserves its own weekend. It is nice for them to have that. They're the game. That's it. I mean, it's been that kind of history for a long time between these schools.
Let me ask you this question, though. Would you rather see Army-Navy on a weekend like this, or would you rather see it the weekend just before the national championship? Or after the national championship?
I would like to see it on this weekend.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because it's the weekend that's in between. It's almost like a gray zone and almost a dead zone in that fact. Because if they don't play, your option for football is you watch the FCS.
Let me ask you this question. Just popped in my head. What if we see Army versus Navy football on the 4th of July? Every year. I mean, 4th of July game, Army-Navy.
That would be interesting. I think they could do other sports on the 4th of July in particular. For instance, neither of those teams ever tend to make the if you want to do something, they both have lacrosse teams. Have them do a lacrosse game on the 4th of July.
That's a good point.
Because it's kind of hard to be like, oh, I know you guys aren't in school right now, but you know what? You're owned by the military. Get back here. You're playing a football game. It's not like they could say no. So, I mean, yeah, I guess you could.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it would be fun. 4th of July, Army-Navy football game. You know what? Just do a military academy all-star game. Every military academy, take their all-stars and let them play.
I mean, if you want to do that and have it, like if you wanted to do something creative and kind of do that, if you want to hypothetically, I don't think schools would do this, but if you want to do scrimmage matches at that point and do Army against Navy, have Air Force there, and then just pick a school that's synonymous to factor in for the pickup game, whether it be Notre Dame, let Ohio State play, big name schools that just would rotate and be part of the collection. Although they probably dominate all three of those teams.
How about this? Army and Air Force versus Navy, the Citadel, Virginia Military Academy All-Stars.
I mean, yeah, possible. Wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. You'll give them a tournament that they can participate in.
Yeah.
They're not playing in the college football playoff, I'll tell you that right now.
No, they're not. Nope. And between Air Force, Navy, Army, VMI, Citadel, you're going to get a third of a draft pick a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
A third. Not even a whole draft pick. You're going to get 1/3 of a draft pick.
And that's assuming somebody has a Charlie Villanueva.
Yeah, because it's like every 3 years, someone from one of those schools gets drafted. Usually it's a lineman from Navy.
But they get drafted, but the thing is, most of the time when they get drafted, they have to serve. Anyway. I mean, unless you can get an exemption, but most of those schools aren't giving you that.
I mean, it depends on how good you are. Like Roger Staubach, they're like, we'll let you play.
Yeah, but nowadays with the NFL, they're like, we can find a guy that's as good as you at some other school.
Yeah. But I thought it was a great game. I am looking forward to that rivalry continuing. There's no reason it shouldn't. We're not, we don't have any crazy insight to this.
It. Don't remove it by any means.
The next thing I want to talk about with college football is the Heisman Trophy.
Called it.
What do you mean called it?
You asked us how we thought it was going to break down, 1 to 3. Nailed it. You can go back and look. I said Baker Mayfield, followed by Love, followed by Lamar Jackson. That's how it went down. That was the voting. Saquon Barkley got 4th, by the way.
Yeah, he did. And actually a couple of Heisman Trophy voters that I had read stuff from did have Saquon Barkley at 2nd. One actually had Saquon Barkley winning it.
The Godfather on his ballot had Saquon Barkley 2nd.
Yes, he did.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I feel like it was the Ohio State did him in as far as the national consensus was concerned.
I think it was even before that. I think it started at Northwestern.
It probably started there, but he still showed his value when he started to blow up. That was what allowed Penn State to take that game, and he still held some weight. But like Gaz had mentioned, I mean, it's hard to say that he doesn't deserve that praise because as he went, Penn State went this year.
Which it really shouldn't have even come down to that.
It shouldn't, but it is what it is. And there's no saying that Saquon Barkley even enters the draft this year.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
He's saying he's waiting until after the bowl game to decide.
Yeah, I mean, everyone says, I'm waiting until after this to decide. Unless you're Christian McCaffrey or Leonard Fournette, and you just totally screw your team. But
I'm not. I don't know that I necessarily agree with you on that. I'm actually on the side of the players in that situation.
I'm on the side of, then when you're in the pro, we want all your money back.
You don't get my money back. That's on you. There's nothing saying I have to play in this game.
Except you sign a contract when you have a scholarship. It's a contract.
I said that I would play football for my scholarship. My football career is about to be done here. Furthermore, the scholarship says it would pay for 4 years. A lot of those guys aren't staying for the full 4 years, so you're getting your money back on 1 year.
That's a pretty good point.
So you keep that money for that year. I'm just not playing this game. You can suck it. I'm out of here.
We're joined by Dan O'Shea. Dan, I'd like to introduce you to our